You're one bowl and a few ingredients away from this gorgeous, decadent, and impressive flourless chocolate cake. So here I have a bar of chocolate and a serrated knife. I like using a serrated knife because it kind of catches and grips onto the chocolate better. If you don't have a bar of chocolate, you can also use chocolate chips. I'm gonna take the chopped chocolate and place it right in the bowl. Make sure to use the back of the knife because we don't want to dull our knife. Now we're gonna add some cubed butter and save this wrapper for later. I'm gonna shake this and then I'm gonna pop this in the microwave till it's all nice and melted. All right, so I'm gonna start with a 30-second burst. See where that takes us? We still have a little ways to go, but I'm gonna mix it just to make sure that the butter is melting over the chocolate, and let's pop it in again. The reason that I'm doing this in bursts is because I don't want the chocolate to burn. This might look a little weird, but trust the process. Just keep going until it's nice and melted. This mixture is still a little warm, so I'm gonna let it cool for a few minutes before we add any other ingredients. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and prepare the pan. So here I have an 8-inch pan. Remember I told you to save the wrapper of your butter? We're gonna use this to grease up our pan. So here I have cocoa powder, and I'm using this so that it'll kind of create a barrier. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tap it around the cake pan. Now, if you were making a vanilla cake, you could do this with flour, but because we're making a chocolate cake, I wanna make sure that you don't see like a layer of white flour. So once that's through, I'm just gonna tap the excess out. All right, for the last part, if you want, you can cut out a parchment circle that fits your cake pan and place it right down there. That'll really make sure the cake doesn't stick. Our chocolate mixture has slightly cooled, so we can go ahead and add in our other ingredients. So let me start by adding in some sugar. We're gonna use cocoa powder, but when you use cocoa powder, there's always little like clumps, so you wanna make sure to sift that in. So at the end, if you have those little clumps of cocoa, you can just take your fingers and press those down. Now we can go ahead and mix this together. Next up, we have eggs. Now the main reason why I wanted the chocolate mixture to slightly cool is because if we add eggs into the hot chocolate, it will kind of scramble and cook the egg. So I'm just gonna beat these eggs gently. To this, I'm gonna add some vanilla. Now I'm gonna place this slowly into this mixture. So try not to incorporate all the eggs at once or else it'll kind of not take it in too well. So add a little bit, mix, and then continue to add more. Once you add the eggs in, the whole mixture will kind of congeal a little, but trust the process. I promise it'll come out to be a super delicious and decadent cake. Now you don't have to worry about overmixing this batter because there's no flour in it, so there's no gluten, but once it's all nice and incorporated, you're good to go. So we're gonna take this and place it into our pan. Now I'm just gonna take the back of my spatula and try to spread it out to the sides. This looks and smells delicious. We're gonna go ahead and put it in an oven that's 300 degrees for about 30 minutes. Our cake is fully baked. I'm just gonna set it right on this wire rack, and it's gonna sit here until it's completely cool to the touch. Now my cake has cooled, so I'm gonna get it out of there. What we wanna do is grab a little cake board. I'm just gonna place it right inside. Hold your hand like your palm, open it up, and then flip over the cake pan. So you'll notice that the parchment is still on it, so all you have to do is gently peel it off. That looks so good and it smells so great in here. All those extra steps we took to make sure that the cake comes out nicely worked. So now I'm gonna take this, put it on my wire rack, and then I'm gonna put this whole wire rack on top of a sheet of parchment lined tray. And this will be where we will ganache it. So here I have 2 bars of chocolate. Using a serrated knife, I'm gonna chop up my chocolate. So I have a big bowl right here, and with the back of the knife, I'm just gonna move all my chocolate in. And the ganache that I'm making is gonna be a 2-part chocolate to 1 part cream. So this is heavy cream. I have 4 ounces. We wanna make sure that all the chocolate is covered by the cream, so just grab a spatula and mix it up. Get it as even as possible, give it a shake, and we're gonna put this in the microwave, again in about 30-second bursts until all the chocolate and cream are heated and nicely melted. All right, so now we're gonna pour it onto our cake. So you wanna pour it while it's still warm and liquidy. Now grab an offset and just spread it all the way towards the edges of the cake and let it drip off. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this wire rack and kind of tap it so any of that extra ganache will just fall down, and let this cool until the ganache sets a little bit so that we can cut into it. Just to speed up the process, I'm gonna stick this whole thing in the fridge and then we can enjoy it. The cake has been chilling in the fridge for a little bit. You can see that the ganache is set and we're ready to cut into it. Here I have a container filled with hot water, and this is gonna allow our knife to be nice and warm so we get clean cuts. Now before I actually slice it, I'm gonna wipe all that water off. And now let's go right here, go right into it. So you can see that this cake is super fudgy and everything kind of dragged along the knife. So before we make our next cut, go ahead and dip this back into your hot water, give it a rinse, get it warm again, and then make sure to wipe it off. Let's go in for our second cut. This looks perfect and heavenly. Let me finish it off with some sea salt and give it a taste. It's so delicious. It's fudgy, it's rich, chocolatey. My goodness, it's amazing. It probably doesn't need the ice cream, but trust me, it's really good together. Happy dance. Make this cake for the chocolate lover in your life. You saw how easy it was to make. It was one bowl, we did a lot of the prep in the microwave, and it came out so beautifully. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of this, so see you next time.